breaking down friendship sports. This is the Tigers Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back into the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. That head cold's getting me again. I don't even know what night of the week it is. I am Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score, and as I promised, we are going to transition from football and take a little detour and talk some volleyball with the Friendship Tigers, who are, I just typed this in this morning in the roundup. You guys, I believe, are 22-13? That's right.
Yes, that's correct.
The big number right now is 2-1 in district. Unfortunately, the one came last night, but we'll talk about the two more than we'll talk about the one, and we'll talk about what's coming up as well. I'm joined by three ladies, as you can tell. On my far left is Amy Mangum. I'm going to forget here. Third year?
Yes, third year.
Third year coach at Friendship. Came down from Shallow. She's a Coronado graduate, so she's a Lubbock girl. She's been around for a long time. Not that long. You're very young. I'm going to have her introduce the two players she brought with her, and then I'm going to have them introduce themselves as well by voice so you can hear if you're listening on radio.
Okay, I've got Emma Harrell, senior libero, and Bliss Dane, senior outside hitter. So,
hi, I'm Bliss Dane. Hello, I'm Emma Harrell.
And Bliss, ever since you've been on varsity, in my head, I keep thinking I'm going to switch the names. I'm going to call her Dane Bliss. I'm going to call her. So I'm glad you're sitting next to me so that I can just talk to you and just nod my head and get you going. So
yes, sir.
A road loss last night at Midland Legacy, but Midland Legacy's good. Is that the first time you've seen them this season?
It is. Usually we play them in a tournament situation. We haven't this year. This is the first time.
But I know they've played a lot of your other fellow Lubbock teams, and they've gotten a few wins other than last night. But before that, you guys, I'll get the girls to comment on this, a little bit of a roller coaster before district. You had some nice wins, some losses where you can't read everything in text, but sometimes when Coach would text me the scores, I could kind of sense she thought that this was one they needed to get. I don't know if I'm a savant or whatever, but now you found it to start district play, which against Midland High went down to the very last drop. One of your teammates, we're going to mention here in a second, and then came back and got the win against St. Angelo, who's been a little bit of a thorn at times. So what kind of turned things around? Was it getting into district and knowing this is when we have to kind of start heading in the right direction?
Yes, sir. I feel like before district, we just I feel like we didn't have that intensity that we have during district now, knowing that it's most of our last year's playing. I think that everybody just kind of wants to end it on a positive note. And I don't know, I feel like we've just been playing with a lot more intensity and just patience with each other and just playing like we want to win every single game.
I agree. We definitely locked in after a couple losses, and once district came around, we were ready to play. We obviously wanted to give it all we had, knowing it was our senior year.
Mm-hmm. So I mentioned one of your teammates, Kaylee Upham, was the HubCityPreps.com Volleyball Player of the Week, UIL Volleyball Player of the Week, and she's also the High School Fan Zone Girls Athlete of the Week. The numbers are good when you look at them, 40 assists, 17 digs, and 5 aces. But Amy, tell the 5 aces, kind of explain why that's a bigger deal when you kind of step back and look at them.
Well, first of all, she was so sick that night.
Really?
So sick.
She has my sympathy.
She did. So anyway, she was fighting through it, taking her Dayquil, just fighting through everything she could, and it just came to the end of the game. She went in, and I give them the liberty if they want to serve a short ball at any time, and they feel good about it, they do. So she stepped up the first ball, and our backs are against the wall a little bit, and she served a short serve, aced it, then served them deep, aced it, and then I think that's when they got a pass set and they swung out of bounds, so they had a hitting error, and then Kaylee came back with 2 more aces with a short and a deep again, and it was just awesome to watch her be able to do that. That was maybe one of the biggest, especially aces. I've not seen 4 aces out of 5 in that type of a situation, and that just took a lot, and I just was so proud of her and the team for stepping up in general against a very, very good Midland team.
Because this was 5th set and you were down 14-12?
I think it was 13-9.
Okay, so your backs are against the wall.
Yes.
And that's one thing I've gotten used to. Amy, I've told Amy this before, and one of her, not her immediate predecessor, but Randy True, Carly Morrison, Kelly Lozada all educated me when I got here about volleyball because I was not very smart about it. But what I have learned is when it gets to that fifth set, all of a sudden it's going.
Yes.
And I mean, it's like you've lit the fuse on a big pack of firecrackers. It just starts going. And
Yes.
it can get away from you quick.
Yes, and it kind of did, and she stepped in there, and I don't know, sometimes when you're sick, you can't overthink things. You just play, and, you just go out and do what you've done your whole lives, and, we talk about that a lot, is just doing what you know because you've touched the ball so many times in your life and just, playing with the understanding that you can do that. And I think she just did that, easily because she couldn't just do it, but she did awesome. So proud of that situation and her stepping up right there.
So this is your teammate, who you know well. Were you guys a little bit in awe as this is unfolding, kind of watching her do this? Because to me, the ace is kind of a different stat in volleyball because it's taking somebody back there who's kind of locked in. Like, Coach, what were you thinking as this played out?
I think that the first through the fourth set, we fought so hard to come back, and it was just back and forth the whole time. So I think we were all pretty tired and just like we wanted to win so bad, but we were all just so exhausted. And I think Kaylee going back there and just acing, we kind of just like put some weight off of our shoulders, knowing like, okay, we can trust each other and knowing that like we can just come back and win this. Like I feel like when you're down 13-9, it kind of gets away from you. You kind of start just like overthinking things, and I think her getting that back, like when it was 13-13, I feel like we all were like, okay, we can win this. Like it just brought us back with more confidence and allowed us to kind of not overthink it as much.
It was honestly a relief. Such a close game. We both wanted it. And Kaylee just had the strength to go back there and ace them, and it was just a very proud moment.
And to be clear, these two young ladies had a lot to do with that win as well.
Oh, 100%.
That week.
Yes.
That week, it's just 2 matches in a long season. But Amy, the fact that your girls got off to that 2-0 start, how does that kind of become a springboard? Now, I said you lost last night, but you've got a long road ahead.
Right.
Getting off to a 2-0 start, what did that tell you about their resolve a little bit?
I just think it says a lot about them and their like what they've done all season long. They come into every practice and every game, of course, and they work so hard. They are, they don't have a give up in them, and they work so hard. And so I'm super proud of that and thankful for like all their I think that's showing now through these successful games and their strength. So.
We're going to wrap up the first segment of the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. We'll come back and talk more Friendship Volleyball and what lies ahead after this break on 100.7 The Score.
Breaking down Friendship Sports. This is the Tigers Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the Tiger Fan Zone. I am Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score. Since we're talking volleyball, we're going to run through the scores from last night. We don't get to do that as often as we should because we focus on football, because we live in Texas, and some of us know that Texas football players need a lot of attention. So I'm just kidding. I love football like everybody else. But let's run through the volleyball scores last. It was very busy in and around Lubbock. The Friendship lost to Midland Legacy on the road. Let's see, when we check my math here, 3 sets decided by 8 points total.
Yes.
So that tells you how competitive it was. Coronado lost to Amarillo High, which a lot of people lose to Amarillo High. Have you guys played them this year? Did you see them?
We have not.
They seem to have recovered a little bit from Mike Moffitt leaving them. Lubbock Cooper, speaking of Mike Moffitt, I believe went on the road, and no, maybe they were at home, beat Paladuro. Monterey lost at home to Plainview. Estacado lost to Leveland. Liberty just keeps winning. They're 33-2, I think. They beat Snyder. Memorial beat San Angelo Lakeview. Talkington, need to fix that, lost to Idalou. Let's see. Trinity Christian was at home and lost to Midland Christian, and Lubbock Christian got their district season started and beat Midland Classical. And then finally in TAPS 1-2A, Southcrest beat Christ the King, KPA beat Ascension Academy, and All Saints beat Midland Holy Cross. I mentioned Memorial. Those girls that you guys knew and kind of mentored when they were little kids?
I didn't know much of them, but I did know Mackenzie. She's a really good. I think she's an outside. Yeah, she's good. We were on track last year in Friendship. She was on varsity. She was really big in the relays, the 4x1, the 4x2. she's a really strong athlete, and I know Bailey for her last name. Yes, I know Bailey. She's super sweet. But yes, I don't know much of them, but I do know some of them, and they're all super sweet and super competitive.
I've coached a lot of them during summer league. They've definitely improved since I've known them.
They've improved since the start of the year.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just all proud of them. They're all little. And
yes, it's amazing to me. When Liberty opened, it was the same thing. You look at, Amy, you see this because you see all the younger ones. When young people are 14 and 15, they look a lot different than when they get to be 17 and 18 because nature and God takes over, and they just look so much different. Now, I'm assuming you got to know a lot of the girls because you, as Jay Northcutt said, friendship coaches coached them just like they would the rest of us for that year.
100%. They were, and if they were on the gold or the freshman team, last year they were in a separate period from these girls. So it was kind of a different way that we did it with this change from block to 8 periods. So, they didn't get to know them as well just because we were separated from them quite a bit. But yes, very talented athletes. My goodness, they are amazing athletes, and it's been neat seeing how successful they've been and the growth that they've had. And I'm excited for Whitney as well.
And this is like every other coach at Friendship and Lubbock Cooper, the old schools and the new schools. This is something different that you've never experienced before. When all of a sudden another school opens and you've got to kind of get used to this is reality now.
100%.
For you guys, I'm going to guess that there's more parking spots in the parking lot, and probably the hallways are a little less crowded now.
The parking, it's gotten better, but it's a lot. If you don't have an out 7th or 8th period, the traffic is still pretty bad.
I don't go anywhere near high school.
No,
at the start or finish
don't do it.
Yeah, if you don't get out at the right time, you'll be stuck in traffic for like 45 minutes. But the hallways are pretty crowded because we have freshmen in there now. The freshman center's gone.
I didn't think about that. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I kind of forgot about that too until we got to school, and I was like, these kids look younger than I expected. But yeah, I think just having the freshmen in the hallways, and they don't drive, so parking's better, but I think the hallways are a little more crowded than I thought they were going to be.
This is a full service radio show. We talk about parking and hallways and not just sports. You guys are having a great season as well, and we talked about that it took a little bit of kind of hit and miss. But before we get to this break, Amy, same question I asked them. When or what kind of got them going into when you started district? What has kind of settled in?
Well, I think, again, you've got 10 seniors on the team, so they are definitely looking, forward and really wanting to finish off strong. And that's been a theme all year. But I just feel like, they've meshed more and more throughout the year. They get to know each other, and they know the lineup, and just communicating with each other better and better on the court, and just knowing expectations. And they've just continued to improve. And I think we've taken film a little bit more seriously for district, and they really are looking at that. Not that they didn't take it serious, but just a little more, like she said, locked in was a good one. When they were asking me, okay, this one does this, and is this right? And so we're really focusing on that a lot, and I feel like it's been a good strength for us.
We'll come back and finish up in the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score after this break.
Breaking down friendship sports. This is the Tigers Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. We have one more segment of the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score on this Wednesday night. I do know what night it is now. We ran through the scores. I'm not going to go through the whole schedule for this weekend, but I will say that Friendship, you go on the road to Permian this week, to Friday. I just typed this in. Tuesday, are you still on the road, or you're back home against?
We're back home against Odessa High.
Okay. That schedule's weird. Were you 2 at home, 2 on the road? Is that designed that way?
We match up with football.
Okay.
And so it's you have to do a lot of communication between the coaches, figuring out, what home and away games you're going to have. But so, next week that's when our district starts, and we make sure we're matched up. So it's just one of those things.
For you two girls, this is something you've gotten used to from watching football for a few years too. You put that blue and gold on, and I bet Coach probably went through this a little bit at Shallow Water too. You wear that blue and gold and it says Tigers on you. Those teams like to beat you, especially in your district. For whatever reason, you guys, it's like waving a red cape out in front of them. What was the environment like last night down in Midland? Was there a little bit of intensity?
Yes, sir. There definitely was. The student section was, I was ready for it. Last year it was the same thing. The year before it was the same thing. But I think that it's honestly a compliment. going in there, everybody, like the crowd is just like, it's just so strong. I feel like it shows us that we are a team that people want to be, and that we're just competitive. And I think that seeing that the student section was there and everything was just the other team, I don't know, I feel like seeing that we are good enough to have a crowd there for us even when we're away, I feel like it just gives us a lot of confidence no matter what.
In the beginning of the year, they probably saw our film and they were like, we're going to beat them 3-0. Then they watched our new film. We've obviously have gotten better, and for us to compete like how we did, it's definitely, again, a compliment that the crowd is there. So I thought it was pretty good.
All right, I'm going to put my coach speak on here. Sometimes you could learn more from a loss than a win. Mm-hmm. You don't want to, nobody ever wants to lose. You wouldn't compete if you wanted to lose. But Amy, is last night something your girls can now take moving forward and get better because of?
I think they've been very good about that this year, and we started out very intense because both teams that we practiced with our JV today, and they came out pretty lackluster. We did too. We got down 9-1 last night to start the game, and so we just started practice with more intensity, and sometimes they don't really like it at the beginning, but they buy in, they get after it, and I think they responded well today in practice, and I think we will on Friday night. And we just, especially Bliss, been doing this for 3 years, knows that you just can't take any team for granted in district. You can go 5 sets any night with somebody, you can get beat by anybody. And our 6A district is very strong. So
that's across the board in every sport. And,
yes.
And sometimes I've tried to explain that to them, that when you get to that level, everybody's got some players.
Yes.
It's not fluke. They know what they're doing. So what do you guys have to do now? How many district matches are left? 7?
7.
So I'm not, seeing your dad, I'm not going to talk about the finish line because I don't want your parents to have to think about it. But what do you have to do now for 3.5, 4 weeks to get where you want to be?
I think just knowing that even if you do lose the first round, just like stepping up and realizing that you still have a whole other round to play them again. Like you don't just play them one time. And I think last night just losing to them just made us want to beat them more in the second round when we play them at home. I don't know. I just feel like we need to step up and just realize, even if which we have done a great job with that, just knowing if you do lose, like just shake it off and learn something from it and just grow from it from the next game, knowing that we do play them again. So like we can't just like harp on it for a few weeks and like just look back on it. We have to move on and play our game the next game, and just hopefully we just play consistent throughout district, and the outcome will be good no matter what.
Every single practice, we definitely do have to lock in. We can't take this loss like it's the last game we're going to play. We definitely have to have the confidence in every other game and make sure that we're not in our head.
So I got to know Coach 3 years ago, and she's one of the happiest, nicest people I've ever dealt with in this business. But she said something there. I'm going to guess that when she cranks it up and she's intense, Fair to say?
Yes, sir. But I feel like that goes with any good coach you have.
So.
And on that note, we're going to wrap it up here. I want you guys to tell Paul Page to keep getting better for me, to make sure he follows orders and does what he's supposed to do.
Yes.
That wraps us up in the Tiger Fan Zone on this Wednesday night. We'll be back in the Pirate Fan Zone right after this break. All right.